No one has more state pride than New Mexicans. The vibrant culture, bold flavors, unique history, and dramatic landscapes under our Zia sun are like no other. And the people of New Mexico are a rare breed. As diverse as we are, together we breathe life and soul into this high desert land, a land that promises adventure. I'm Michael Newman, and as your host, I'll be taking you with me as I seek out the best the Land of Enchantment has to offer.
New Mexico, it feels like home to me. It feels so true. It's time well spent when I spend it.
In this episode, we get our fill of food and culture. From signature green chili cheeseburgers to ghost towns, museums to time spent playing and relaxing in the water. We are on sensory overload, and you don't want to miss it. I'd barely made my way out of Albuquerque when my stomach started grumbling. Thank goodness I know exactly where to stop. San Antonio, New Mexico. Stopping in San Antonio, New Mexico is one of the best pit stops you can make. The two places that have put it on the map, the Buckhorn and the Owl Cafe. Both are well renowned for their green chili cheeseburger. The only dilemma may be choosing one. Walking into the Buckhorn, you know right away what you'll find on the menu. Even if its reputation hadn't preceded itself, the aromas from the kitchen would holler, beef, it's what's for dinner. And no doubt, that's why these patrons are here.
This is a staple. Everybody said you got to try it, so tried it a couple times back, and I've got a guy with me who's first time. So. Oh, it's excellent. It's excellent. And as soon as I get that camera off me, I'll start eating it.
There's no way I was going to leave without talking to legendary Bobby Olguin himself.
My culinary experience started with watching the old people of New Mexico cooking. Every time you go to somebody's house, there's always food on the table. And I've always sat in the kitchen watching these people cook and loving to see people eat. And I think that's tradition that we carry here in the Buckhorn. We have a sign up in front. If you come in here, it says, if you're in a hurry, we're not fast foods. And we mean that sincere from the heart because we want to cook it so you enjoy it like the good old days.
But save room for a second helping of green chili cheeseburger delight, onto the Owl. Namesakes of this legendary tavern greet you at the door. And upon entering, you realize instantly that you have just walked into a place you didn't realize could still exist. This place is a classic. As if the bar and booths weren't cool enough, the locals give this place a great vibe.
We've been coming to the Owl Cafe here for all my life, and I'm 54 years old, so I've been coming here quite a while. And it's really a treat for us to come and eat a chili cheeseburger. It's supposed to be the best in the world, and I agree. And the other thing that's really good here is the chili cheese fries. We enjoy coming here as a family, and it's a great community place to just come and visit.
Well, I get people from all over the world here. And I've had delegations from Japan, from China, from Russia, and they love them. Sometimes I go outside and just to look at the license plates, and they're from every place.
So make your way on over to this culinary crossroads. See if you can decide. Here's some things to keep in mind before you head to the Owl of the Buckhorn. San Antonio is just over an hour south of Albuquerque and only 10 minutes south of Socorro on I-25. The menus at both restaurants offer more than just burgers. The Buckhorn has a great selection of Mexican food, and be sure to consider the steaks and even breakfast fare at the Owl. Be sure to check out other great spots on the New Mexico Green Chili Cheeseburger Trail on newmexico.org. And don't go away, things are about to heat up. Need a reason to hit the road? Find upcoming events around the state at newmexico.org. Truth or Consequences, also known as T or C, is a funky little town neighboring Elephant Butte in the south central part of our state. Many people may be drawn to T or C for its unique and legendary name, but for those in the know, they come for the healing hot springs. These pristine thermal waters are central to this area's history. Before the motorists of the 1920s, 30s, and 40s flocked to the resorts of town, the Apaches frequented these waters and deemed it a sacred and spiritual place. Today, there is a wide range of hotels, motor courts, and spas that offer a variety of soaking experiences. And a TRC local, Monica, is going to give me the full tour. So Monica, we're here in TRC, formerly known as Hot Springs.
Yes.
Okay, so that must mean one thing. There's hot springs here, right?
There are indeed hot springs here. You got that part right.
Yeah, so tell me about this historical hot spring district.
Well, this actually used to all be swampland before they put in the Elephant Butte Dam. So when they dammed up the Rio Grande, they sort of dried out this river basin, and that made some of the hot springs sort of easier to access. It wasn't just a warm part of the river anymore. It became a place where you could just tap down and out came the water. So.
Wow, oh, I like that. So we're at our first stop, and tell me about where we are.
We are at the first place that I stayed when I first came to TRC about 15 years ago. Riverbend Hot Springs used to be Riverbend Hostel. I came here and I just fell in love with this place.
I mean, even from the outside, the color, you know, you got the teepee out front.
After you?
Oh, after you. So what makes this place so special?
Well, it's on the river for starters.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
of course.
No one else has a place on the river like this.
Okay.
Which is amazing.
The view.
The view, really, yeah. And they get the river gets a lot higher in the summer, so you can see people floating down. And
So is this like a normal thing that people do? You know, they come to places like Riverbend and soak the locals here?
yeah, I mean, the locals will come here. You can come by the hour. But this thing special about this place, I think, is the kind of attention they've given it. There's so many grounds and gardens.
Yeah, and the art here too is really, really magnificent. You cannot get a better setting for hot springs than along the banks of the Rio Grande. If this is how my tour starts, I'm anxious to see what else Monica has in store. So the next one we're at is Indian Springs, which brings me to an interesting point of history. People used to come here to soak in the springs like Native Americans back in the day, right?
Yeah, this was considered kind of like the Switzerland of the Southwest. I mean, you couldn't really bear arms here. This wasn't where you came to have any kind of conflict or war. In fact, this is where you came to resolve it in a nonviolent way. So you could not bring your weapons or cause any harm to someone else, but you also could not count coup. I don't know if you know what counting coup is.
I've heard that, but I don't know what that term means.
Well, in Western tribes, they count coup when they come in and there's a conflict between two warring tribes, and they don't only take it like all to blows. There's one like a battle of wits where if you wake up and a person in the opposing tribe is touching your face and then they're gone like that, basically they're saying, I could have killed you, but I didn't.
Oh, that's tricky.
So it's like, I am the better warrior, but also I'm more compassionate and I spared your life because I'd rather like work it out. It's just a place to come to soak and resolve conflict or just heal and be.
I love that.
Yeah, peaceful place.
Our next stop is Hey-OK, one of the oldest operating bathhouses in town that still has natural flowing water, meaning it is not pumped in. You can find something for everyone.
Totally.
You know, you have the college kids who are like, yo, I just want to float and have a party. You have the more ritzy, you know, older folks that come in.
Mature audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll enjoy Riverbend. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny in town. You know, you pretty much can ask somebody, where do you like to soak? And it says a lot about them. You know, you learn something about people.
Another property providing a beautiful setting for soaking is Blackstone. A quiet and colorful courtyard greets you as soon as you walk on site, and their soaking pool is the perfect hybrid of rustic and luxurious. But now we're headed for one of Monica's favorite spots. La Paloma is enchanting from the minute you walk into the courtyard, and the waters here are unique as well. Cindy explains why.
I love the water. I came here for the water. And there's only 2 natural flow bathhouses left here, which means we don't pump or pipe it. And the fun thing about that is science has finally met nature here and crossed those boundaries. And the physicists call this structured water, which sounds backwards.
Yeah.
But structured water can actually have an energy that's measurable, and they can quantify that number and give it to us in addition to the minerals that are in the water.
There's just this feeling here, you know, when you think about it from outside perspective, and you're like, what is in truth or consequence, you know? Other than truth or consequences.
Well, what I can tell you is it's a lot of fun for people when they come here to see if they can feel the difference in the natural flow, true artesian water and the pumped water. And apparently people can, because we hear lots of things about it.
You know, in a guidebook that I read, when I was getting ready to come to Truth or Consequences for the first time, the quote that I'll never forget was, don't come to Truth or Consequences expecting a spiritual experience, but don't be surprised if you have one.
It's like, oh, okay, fine. I love that. This was sacred, peaceful land where people came and bathed themselves and replenished.
People are coming for health reasons, for emotional support, for the spiritual aspects.
Yeah, I'm a believer at this point. You guys have convinced me fully.
All right, should I show you the baths?
Okay, let's see the baths.
All right.
Oh yeah, this looks so good. There's no pump in here. This is the real deal.
Monica's not the only fan of this place. We met a couple in the courtyard who hold a special place in their hearts for La Paloma.
This is probably our third visit here at La Paloma, and we visited some other nice places here in Tier C, but we really fell in love with this place. So yesterday I proposed and she accepted, and this was the place we did it. I love you, babe.
I love you too.
Monica was right. There is something magical about this place.
It's like being on a retreat. Nice, peaceful, relaxing. You forget about everything else that's happening around you. It's just great. We love it. And that's why we came out here.
It's not going to be easy to get out of this hammock, but we have one more stop on this tour that Monica has promised will be worth it. Beyond soaking, the Sierra Grande is a magnificent property for a weekend getaway. Spa treatments, simple but luxurious rooms, and beautiful grounds make this a true oasis in the Chihuahua Desert. This is what we've been waiting for, right?
Totally the place. Thanks.
Cool. Oh, this is gorgeous.
I know. I told you you'd love it.
This is quite luxurious, like you said. Oh man. With the infinity pool.
I know, it goes right over the edge.
Wow. I mean, you were not lying.
Stars at night.
You were not lying. Every spot has been so different.
I know, everything has a totally different vibe. This is why you can really read a person based
Yeah.
on where they like to soak.
Thank you so much for showing us around the
Oh,
town.
it's been my pleasure.
Oh.
I mean, I love this little town. I'm glad you guys have taken an interest. You want to come see it, you know?
Yeah. I think, you know, a lot of people just knew about little small section of TRC, but I think being able to see all the different parts of it, and especially all the different types of springs, that's that's been really cool for me, because, you know, people usually just go to one spot.
Exactly. I mean, if you're staying in that spot, that's where you're going to soak, but there's really kind of something for every kind of person here. So, yeah, you got to come back and find your favorite place.
Yeah.
Stay there.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a close call. There's a lot of good ones.
Right?
There really is something for everyone here in TRC. Now that I've spent some time here, I'm counting the days until I may return. Before you go to soak, here's some tips. Truth or Consequences is 2 hours south of Albuquerque and only an hour north of Las Cruces on I-25. These are hot springs. Temperatures range from 98 to 115 degrees, so be sure to stay hydrated while you soak. Depending on where you visit in the hot springs district, you can soak by the half hour, or better yet, stay overnight. And coming up next, find out the truth about Truth or Consequences. Sign up to receive monthly newsletters about events and happenings around the state at newmexico.org. The Geronimo Springs Museum is a gem of a museum right in the heart of Truth or Consequences. An incredible representation of the cultures and history of this area, the Geronimo Springs Museum opens many doors in your exploration of TRC and the greater southwestern region of the state. I'm meeting with Marilyn to get more acquainted with the unique array of artifacts they have here. The first thing I noticed is a gallery devoted to Ralph Edwards. So who is this man? This room seems to be dedicated to Ralph Edwards. Now, I don't know who Ralph Edwards, and I don't think many people at home knew who Ralph Edwards is, so can you tell me about him?
Ralph Edwards was a TV personality, and he had the show Truth or Consequences and The People's Court. In 1950, he started a promotion, and he said that they wanted to get a town that would name themselves Truth or Consequences for a day. And they entered, and I was not living here at the time, but this town won the competition. And so he came every year for Fiesta, rode in the parades, and we had at that time wonderful parades.
Cool. And so he really put this place on the map, on the country. Like, many people didn't know about hot springs, New Mexico before, right?
And there are a number of hot springs in different states. So yes, he really put it on the map. This is the Heritage Room. This is my personal favorite.
Housed in a space that was a former tavern, the exhibits of the Heritage Room represent all cultures of Sierra County, giving you a comprehensive introduction to the area.
So we have Eugene Manlove Rhodes, the author, Geronimo, the well-known Native American warrior, Añate, and Pancho Villa.
So the Geronimo Springs Museum is known for many things. What would you say it's most known for?
Recently it's been pottery.
In fact, their collection of pottery is world-class. Many people come to see their Mimbres collection dating from as early as 200 AD. The pottery is not the only highlight of this museum. Be sure to check out the old mammoth skulls and other biofacts, as well as old relics from early ranch life. They even have transplanted an old miner's cabin right on site. And a favorite piece for many visitors is the life-size statue of Geronimo, whose small stature is surprising considering his larger-than-life legacy. Before you visit the museum, here are some hints. The museum sits right on Main Street in the center of Truth or Consequences and is open daily. Be sure to check out their calendar of events and activities, including their Fiesta Open House the first weekend of May. Beyond discounts for military and seniors, the museum also offers special family rates. Kids under 6 are always admitted for free. Find steals and deals for your next New Mexico vacation at newmexico.org. A great day trip from Truth or Consequences takes you out on New Mexico Highway 52 on one of the state's most scenic stretches of road and through some unforgettable ghost towns. I'm making my way to Chloride. This town had its boom after word got out that Harry Pye discovered silver ore here. And as the case with all boom towns, it went bust. It stood abandoned for the most part until Don Edmond made his way into town. Don is the man chiefly responsible for bringing the abandoned ghost town back to the splendor of the late 1800s, and he's going to show me around today. Where are we right now?
Well, we're at the Mighty Crystal Saloon and Dance Hall.
Okay.
It was built in 1880, ran for 4 years as a saloon, and then in 1884 it became a schoolhouse. It was a schoolhouse for some years, and it did other things, and now it's a gift shop and gallery.
Huh.
It's all restored. There's about 30 local people who display their things in there.
So this is a perfect example of something that had some history.
It's got some history, and it's still in use.
Oh, I love that.
Okay.
So let's take a ride.
Okay, we'll go take a ride. The building we're coming up on here on the right, that was the bank, built to be the bank in 1884. Failed before it opened. Opened as the bank saloon. It was the 9th saloon in town. This is Pye's cabin. This was the first building in Chloride. It was built in 1879. Wow. He and 2 men built this before they started mining. The Indians killed him about 3 months later. We're coming up on the hanging tree here on the left. We asked the old timers what the story was about the hanging tree, and they said nobody really hung by the neck. And on weekends, or when the miners or cowboys were in town, if they got too rambunctious from too much to drink, they'd dunk them in the tank and chain them to the tree until they realized the error of their ways. This was the judge's office, built in 1880 by Judge Holmes. And then it was, well, it's the post office after that, and then a gambling den and a dance hall.
So that building is kind of transformed
Yeah,
over the years.
that's kind of common with buildings here. They went through a lot of things.
Of all Don's fascinating historic tales, my favorite story was how he came to be a resident of Chloride himself.
Labor Day weekend 1977, we were looking for Wall Lake over in the Gila. I made a wrong turn in Winston, and we wound up down the road here. No, not even gravel, just dirt.
Just dirt.
And I told my wife, I said, I'm on the wrong road, we got to turn around. And she said, I see some rooftops, let's drive up there. So we drove up here, and these are all derelicts. One of these buildings was derelicts. We thought we'd stumbled onto a deserted movie set. So we parked at the west end and looked down the street, and we were absolutely entranced. And my wife said, if this is deserted and if it's available, this is where we need to live.
I wanted to ask you too, I mean, what sustained you, to rebuild and rehabilitate this whole area? Because it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is. I'm ambitious, and I can do it, and keeps me off the bar and off the street corners. We just got interested in the history, and I thought we'd try to save it. So we've done, I think, 10 buildings here. I have 2 in process now, and 2 or 3 more that we'll do.
And now the highlight of my tour, the general store.
Come on in, Michael.
Oh man.
This is what we found.
Everything intact. The Pioneer Store is one of the more amazing stores to come out of Chloride. After the mining boom went bust, the store was leased out in 1896. While it changed hands over the years, it ultimately closed and was boarded up in 1923. It remained boarded and sealed up for 73 years. So when Don came to town, he found the Pioneer Store locked up untouched, frozen in time since 1923.
And this should be a museum. Well, it was obvious.
Yeah, everything is already set in place for it to be a museum.
So we put things back pretty much where they were. We saved some of the boxes.
Let's see, I want to see some of these.
They may have holes in the back, but
I mean, when did these date back to? Would you say?
Well, 1880 to 1923.
1880s. So some of the stuff they don't even make anymore.
The newest stuff here would be 1923.
Wow.
Post office was established here in 1881 in this corner.
Original typewriter, all that stuff?
That was here. Yeah.
No way.
The newspaper was printed upstairs, so this was kind of the center of town.
What's your favorite item out of everything?
This thing right here.
This guy?
Yeah, that's that thing right there. That's a fireproof credit system. They heat it with wood, have wood roofs. They catch on fire. They lose their inventory, but their biggest losses were these books. There's a whole page of these. That's written to Alejandro Salas. It's dated May 8th, 1911. It's for 20 cents worth of cheese and 5 cents worth of chocolate.
No
and it's
way.
still not paid.
No, so they're still indebted to this
yeah.
place.
This is the father of the food processor. That's a butter churn.
Butter churn here.
Commercial size.
Oh man, I mean, you really feel like you're there.
It's a time capsule.
And that is for dynamite.
Yeah, all the kids know what that is, Mike.
Yeah. Oh man. Uh-oh.
How you like that?
Oh, this is the dentist
that's a barber.
chair?
That's the dentist chair. Isn't it terrible? They tell me that the barbers did the dental work.
Oh man.
And this, I don't know why it got stored in here. They tell me that would have been in the barber shop.
I was blown away by the countless treasures found in this old general store. And to think this time capsule of a place exists just 40 miles off the beaten path from Elephant Butte and TRC. It's truly awesome. Where a big tourist destination is and off the beaten path, you can find a place like Chloride. And you know, the history here and the people that came through this town, and you know, it's right next to the Gila Wilderness, and I don't know, it's just something that is very special about a town like this that you can't find in many places. And many people in New Mexico kind of find that, but if you're not adventurous, if you're not trying to get out of your comfort zone, you're never going to find a place like this. But it takes a little bit of heart and a little bit of sacrifice, I think, to restore a place like this and to really take it in and call it home. Before you hit the road, here's some tips for your visit to Chloride. Chloride is just 40 miles northwest of TRC on Highway 52. This town is open for business 7 days a week. In addition to the General Store Museum, be sure and visit the gift shop and gallery representing local artists. Chloride is not the only high point along this stretch of road. Be sure to stop and check out the ghost towns of Winston and Cuchillo along the way. Elephant Butte is our state's largest lake and is the ultimate playground for water enthusiasts. Created by the construction of Elephant Butte Dam in 1916, this lake has been a welcoming retreat for decades. You can find people lounging or playing on the shores, as well as cruising through the water by kayak, jet skis, sailboats, and more. And many people come for what is under the water. Fishing is a favorite pastime for many people frequenting the lake. Bass, walleyes, and stripers are among the many varieties you'll reel in from these waters. But the fun is not limited to water activities. Elephant Butte State Park has as much to do on land as on the waves. Pack a picnic lunch, or better yet, stay long enough for a hike and wildlife viewing or camping. The city of Elephant Butte, with its 5-star golf course Sierra del Rio, has also become a mecca for golfers. This course offers 18 holes, a driving range, sports shop, and bar and full-service restaurant. This is a great travel destination for people with any range of interests. Bring the kids, grab your friends, but get on over here because the water is calling. In this episode, we got to check out some of the things New Mexico is most known for, from green chili cheeseburgers to ghost towns. So what are you waiting for? Go out and explore. As always, I'm your host, Michael Newman. We'll see you next week right here on New Mexico True Television.